In the quiet corner of a bustling city where life's noise often drowned the cries of the voiceless, an unimaginable act of cruelty unfolded. A man, cold and indifferent, tied a frail dog with her newborn puppies to an old, gnarly tree in an abandoned park, walking away without a backward glance, leaving them to the mercy of fate. But what happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. An unfolding tale that would restore your faith in humanity and the unseen connections of the world. The dog, a scruffy mix with eyes that mirrored the pain of abandonment and the courage of a mother, whimpered softly as she licked her puppies, shielding them from the harshness of the December wind. Days turned into nights, and their little cries grew fainter, blending with the rustle of dry leaves. The world passed by, blind to the silent tragedy, until one day a little girl named Emily, curious and kind-hearted, stumbled upon the heartbreaking scene. Emily, just 9 years old, had always had an affinity for animals. With her mother's golden scarf wrapped snugly around her, she was on her way to feed the birds when she heard a faint whimpering sound. Following the noise, she came across the pitiful sight of the dog, her ribs stark against her fur, and her puppies huddled together, shivering. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she ran home, her tiny boots kicking up dirt in desperation. She burst through the door, pleading with her mother to help save the doggy family. Emily's mother, Sarah, was a single parent working double shifts, but she saw the determination in her daughter's eyes and couldn't refuse. Together, they gathered a blanket, some food and water, and rushed back to the park. As they untied the trembling dog and scooped up the puppies, the dog, despite her exhaustion, wagged her tail ever so slightly, as if sensing salvation in the gentle hands that carried her. They named the dog Hope and her puppies Faith, Grace, and Courage. Over the next few weeks, Hope transformed under Emily's care. From a skeletal figure to a healthy, spirited dog, she became a symbol of resilience. But Hope's story didn't end there. Sarah, inspired by the bond between Emily and Hope, decided to start a local shelter, a haven for abandoned animals. The shelter became a beacon of compassion in the city, uniting people from all walks of life. Volunteers poured in, donations flooded, and countless animals found their forever homes. But the most astonishing part of the story was yet to come. One day, a man walked into the shelter, a man with tired eyes and a remorseful heart. He was the same man who had abandoned Hope and her puppies. Life had not been kind to him either. Struggling with poverty and addiction, he had made a choice he regretted every day since. When he saw Hope, now vibrant and full of life, he broke down, confessing his act of cruelty. To everyone's shock, Hope didn't growl or cower. She walked up to him, gently placing her paw on his knee as if forgiving him. The man, overwhelmed, vowed to turn his life around. He began volunteering at the shelter, working tirelessly to atone for his mistake. Hope, now a therapy dog, became his constant companion, guiding him toward redemption. Her story spread far and wide, inspiring millions. From school children to corporate giants, everyone pitched in to support Sarah's shelter. Celebrities visited, funds were raised, and laws protecting animals were strengthened. Emily, now a teenager, often reflected on that fateful day in the park. She realized that Hope's story wasn't just about a dog and her puppies. It was about the power of compassion, the possibility of redemption, and the ripple effect of one small act of kindness. And so, in a world often divided, the tale of Hope, her puppies, and the people whose lives she touched served as a poignant reminder that love, in its purest form, could heal even the deepest wounds and create miracles in the unlikeliest of places. The shelter, now bustling with life and love, became the heart of the community. Children came to play with the rescued animals, elderly residents found solace in the company of wagging tails, and families adopted not just pets, but new members of their households. Hope, always in the middle of the action, became a legend in her own right. Her gentle nature and unyielding spirit earned her a place as the official ambassador of the shelter. She attended events, visited schools to teach children about kindness to animals, and even made appearances at fundraisers. But Hope's journey wasn't without challenges. One day, while on a visit to a nearby city for a charity event, Hope suddenly collapsed. Panic swept through the crowd as Emily, now older and more attached to Hope than ever, held her in her arms, tears streaming down her face. The veterinarian rushed to their side, and after a tense few hours, the diagnosis came. Hope had a heart condition that had gone unnoticed due to her past malnourishment and stress. The news shattered the community. The shelter was inundated with messages of love and support. People who had been touched by Hope's story came forward to donate towards her treatment. Emily, now more determined than ever, started researching everything she could about Hope's condition. She stayed up late, holding Hope close, whispering words of comfort, as if trying to will her back to health. Meanwhile, the man who had once abandoned her, now a trusted volunteer at the shelter, was devastated. He blamed himself, believing that his past cruelty had contributed to her condition. It was Hope's unwavering forgiveness and gentle presence that finally helped him realize that dwelling on guilt wouldn't heal her. Instead, he poured his energy into helping Emily care for her. Together, they formed an unlikely bond, united by their shared love for Hope. As the weeks turned into months, something remarkable began to happen. Despite the odds, Hope's condition stabilized. Her resilience once again amazed everyone. The shelter hosted a special event in her honor, a Hope's Day celebration where people shared stories of how Hope had inspired them. From a young boy who decided to study veterinary medicine to a woman who overcame her depression after adopting a dog from the shelter, the tales of transformation were endless. But Hope wasn't done yet. One winter night, while Emily and her mother were walking her through the park where it all began, Hope suddenly stopped. She pulled on her leash, leading them to a dark corner. There, they found a cardboard box soaked from the snow, with faint cries coming from inside. Emily's heart raced as she opened the box to find a litter of tiny kittens, barely clinging to life. It was as if Hope had come full circle, paying forward the kindness that had saved her. The kittens were taken to the shelter, where they were nursed back to health. They became the newest members of the shelter family, and their story added another chapter to the legend of Hope. By now, the shelter had expanded into a full-fledged rescue center, equipped with medical facilities, training programs, and even an adoption outreach team. Hope lived to see all of this, her legacy growing with each passing day. Her final years were filled with love, warmth, and purpose. When she eventually passed away, the entire community mourned her loss. A statue of Hope, surrounded by her puppies, was erected in the park where she had been found, a permanent reminder of her impact. Emily, now an adult, continued her mother's work, running the shelter with the same passion and dedication. Every year on Hope's Day, people gathered to celebrate the extraordinary dog who had taught them the true meaning of compassion and resilience. Hope's story became a beacon, proving that even the darkest moments can lead to the brightest beginnings when love and kindness prevail.